Hey everybody, welcome back to Cineplex. My name is Manny,
No one.
and today we're going to be reviewing, pretty much our review, our discussion of Stranger Things season 3. Might be a little late than other reviews out there, but we actually had a whole reaction to every episode, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, so it was only 8 episodes this season.
Yeah.
I believe last episode was 10.
Less.
Might have been a
I
little
think
more.
9 or 10.
Either way, let's just start right into it. This season felt a little flat for me. You thought it was better than season 2, or
I thought it was a lot better.
it was
season
yeah,
two.
it was. I thought it was a little bit better than season 2. Season 2 was just not good for me. Season 1 still the best. I mean, season 1 was great. Season 2 was a little bit, especially with those episodes with 11 and that other girl out of the crew. But this season just felt like, I don't know. It just feels like if this is what it feels like to me. Season 1 they did season 1 and it was good, but it feels like did the Duffer Brothers come into this having a whole like layout plan for like, okay, if this gets picked up, if this becomes successful, this is the whole story we're gonna do. Because for me it feels like they did season 1 and then it came out good, and then they're like, all right, now we got to come up with season 2, and then now season 2 is good, now they got to come up with season 3. It feels like they didn't have a whole like a big idea for everything, for like a whole story. They just
Maybe they had like an idea of like a full story, but without like detail in it. So they knew where it was going. They just didn't know what was gonna happen to go there. Maybe, but I do think they did have some idea because they ended the first season with a cliffhanger.
yeah. Well, that was the first. Yeah, first season was great in that cliffhanger with little Demigorgon. No, not a Demigorgon.
He threw up something.
Yeah, it was Demigorgon, right? And it turned out to grew up to be a Demigorgon. And then you have the Upside Down in season 2, but then in season 3, okay, they closed the door in season 2, right?
Yeah.
And then in season 3, like they just decided, oh, you know what, these Russians want to open it now, and then we'll make that issue. I just
That
feel
was
like
something.
I feel like with season 2, the door was closed. Now, like season 3, they could have just done something totally different, like.
But that's like what I was telling you while we were watching it. Like, I was kind of confused about whether it was something that happened after season 2 or if it was happening during the same time that season 2 was happening.
Oh no! Oh, the Russian thing.
Yeah, because I think it was happening at the same time.
It could be. It could be. Yeah, I guess that's what.
What was that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's the door over there, but I guess it could have been happening at the same time that the Russians were trying to open it, but it feels like the mall was something new.
No, that yeah. I mean, like when they started, like the Russians started opening it and stuff. I think that happened before.
Or they're on the same time.
Because like I said, like during when they explained that if they close the gate, he'll die. That means that he would have been dead already, had the Russians not opened the gate before.
Right.
They closed the other.
Because the only reason the Mind Flayer was alive was because the door was open, and then it was connected to the bigger boss. They said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was I guess that's okay. But here's why it felt flat for me. Because with season 1, you had this tension throughout the whole thing. I mean, Will was stuck. It was Will, right? Or Mike? Yeah, Will. Will was stuck. Nobody believed the mom. The mom was all paranoid. She was trying to figure it out in her home. And then at season 2, I don't remember season 2 all that well. But with this season, the kids weren't even all together at the same time. But what I did like was, I guess the Scoops Troops was okay for me. But what I really wanted was to see all the kids together, because that was what was great about season 1.
I feel like I don't know. Like that was what I did like as well in season 1, but this time around there's a lot more of them. So all of them together would have been. I feel like it would have been a little too much.
Yeah,
that's why they split them up.
Yeah, but then they all got together at the end, and they just each had their own like. I guess they each had their own story, and at the end they were gonna get together. But it just felt like that's not what captivated Stranger Things with people. What captivated Stranger Things with people was the whole thing of the kids being together and the whole 80s thing. And then in season 2 they did too much 80s vomit on us, and then they just relied on like, oh, the arcade. Oh, I remember that. This one was a little bit better than that, because this one was more involved in like just to tell the story, besides the whole mall thing, and the whole thing with like that's what I was gonna say with Joyce and Hopper. It just feels now. It felt like more like comedic. Those two characters.
This time, yeah.
Yeah, they weren't as serious. There was a lot of scenes where like because there was tension with the whole Mind Flayer thing and the whole Russian thing, and then you get cut to scenes with Joyce and Hopper, and then or other comedic scenes where it's just like, well, okay, there was no reason for that. There was no reason for this scene. There was no like character. There was no scenes. There was random scenes that were useless, and usually scenes like that have like character development, but there was no added character development for any of the kids. I feel like there was no added besides fucking what's his name? Will who was in love with 11. Now obviously they've established
Mike.
Yeah, Mike. Just forget. I always get Will and Mike. All the kids seemed the same to me. There was no like development.
Well, I mean, I feel like
except that one episode where they were all focused on their girlfriends, and that one guy wanted that's Mike. Mike wanted to keep playing.
What Will wanted to keep
playing. Jesus Christ, Will wanted to keep playing. I guess that was the only thing.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of sprinkle it a little bit, like how they're changing now that they're like teenagers. But I thought it was fine because I didn't like. We already got a whole season, the first season of them getting to know who they are and everything, and then the second season, which I guess kind of expanded a little bit, not so much. So I was like, I don't need to know them more. Like I know them. I know who they are. And the only new characters, I mean, they kind of gave us a good idea of who they were. The girl in the ice cream place. What was her name? I forgot.
The new girl?
Robin.
Yeah.
Robin,
yeah, I was fine with Robin's character.
And the other little girl, the sister. I forgot her name.
Oh, yeah.
The one they call the nerd.
Yeah, the nerd. Yeah, she was good too. Yeah, those two were fine. Yeah, they worked. But again, it just feels to me like there's no overall big story. Like, where's this all going? Like if they make if they're gonna try to stretch this into how many seasons? If they're gonna try to stretch, it feels like there's gonna be, if it's still being successful, people watching, they're just gonna keep stretching it and stretching. It's gonna turn like the Walking Dead thing, where some like seasons just turn.
It's completely different.
Yeah, it's gonna come down and it's gonna turn to something different. In that case, wouldn't it just been better for them to just do it as a movie? Like, if they would have made just Stranger Things like a whole trilogy movie. But it just feels like to me they had their best idea in season 1, and then they just didn't know what to go with it. That's why it's best to have like a huge layout.
Like the plot for both of them feels like maybe you didn't need a whole season for that. Because it, like, once again, like, it just finished, and we don't feel like anything like progressed. Like, we didn't really figure anything else out.
More about the other side. Yeah.
Other than that the Russians were involved as well, and that the Mind Flayer wants to kill 11.
Right, that's because they learned that's like the only person that can beat it.
But that's all we learned. Like, there's nothing else.
I guess.
And on top of that, we are left with even more questions because it's like, what are they trying to do? What are the Russians trying to do?
Exactly.
What's the point of them Demogorgon at the end, other than to tell us that they're still here?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just that's why I felt like at the end of season 2 when they turned the Upside Down, they're like, okay, the Upside Down is still there, and then now this season, Demogorgon, the Upside Down, like we know the Upside Down is there. But where are you gonna go with it? You can't just have like a monster trying to kill these people. You gotta give us more information to give the other Upside Down more purpose. Like, what does it want?
Yeah, to learn more about it.
And I guess it was possessing people more in this season, but we learned that it can possess because of Will, right? In the season 2,
yeah.
And now in this season, he was like possessing a bunch of humans.
But yeah, like, I don't know. I just feel like although. Like, yeah, I enjoyed this season. It was alright. But we didn't get anything from it. Like, at the end of the day, like, we didn't get much.
Yeah. Like, you can give a quick summary to, like, or like if someone wanted to keep watching, or they wanted to keep watching, or they wanted, like, season 4 came out and they didn't watch season 3, you can literally just say, okay, there's these 2 new characters. What'd you miss in season 3? Oh, the Mind Flayer is there, and they defeated it. But guess what? There's still a Demogorgon. Around.
Yeah,
it's just that
almost more than half of it is just.
It's definitely a quick summary. Yeah.
All of them investigating separately.
Yeah, exactly. They could. And then it all tries to come together at the end.
Yeah, it all comes together at the Like, Hopper and Joyce are investigating the Russians. Mike and 11, they're investigating, what's his name, Billy?
Mhm.
Because they're the first ones that kind of figure out that it's the mind flayer.
Right. I mean, this
And
is
then the Scoops
Scoops
troop,
troops.
they're investigating the Russians as well, but like in a different manner.
Yeah, out of
So,
all of them, I
like-
think I enjoyed. I mean, the Scoops troops more
Yeah, I
because
did.
of there was a lot of their comedy, a lot of their like the comedic aspect worked for me. A lot of the stuff with Hopper and Joyce didn't really. The whole thing with 11 and Mike,
I did-
everything didn't work for me either. I mean, there was a lot of great
like
scenes.
the comedy, you mean?
Yeah,
Comedy stuff.
because I mean that's what
I
they were
guess.
landing for. They were landing for a lot of comedy in this. At least for me, that's what I got from this season.
Yeah.
And some of it worked, and just some of it just didn't. Some of it just felt forced. Some of it just felt out of place. Like there's no like Stranger Things, the first season, it had that horror aspect of, and it was weird, and you get that constant tension. This time there's like it didn't feel any horror into it. It was more like a feel good season to me.
Not even, well, yeah, like completely different.
Yeah.
Even
The tone is
season
off.
2 didn't have a lot of that horror stuff, but it wasn't like this one. Like it was comedy and stuff.
What season
the
2 had
first
was
season was a lot better.
But what season 2 had was the whole 11 thing with her mom and trying to figure out where she came from. Like that was interesting. That was good. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. But then they took it away to something random.
Yeah, they left. I feel like season 2, like they were like introducing us to certain things, and then in this season they don't even touch on it. Other
Yeah.
than they mention her mom like at one point, but
Yeah,
that's it.
it just feels like they're trying things. Like what are they gonna respond to? Well, and then they didn't respond this.
But it feels like completely ignored.
Yeah, like they just retconned it.
just-
They're just like,
Yeah.
yeah, but
That's what I'm saying. Like I kind of feel like even as far as saying like season 2 and even this season feel a bit unnecessary.
yeah, this season did feel unnecessary. Like you can literally jump if the next season is good. Like I said, if the next season is really really good, and someone hadn't watched season 3, like we can get them to skip season 3. Like they don't have to watch it. Like you could just give them a nice quick little summary.
Or they could have put, I don't know, maybe it would have been too much. Like to put season 2 with 3, like just take off all the filler stuff.
Yeah, I guess you could. You could.
But
Yeah,
I feel
definitely.
like it might have been a little much.
Like in the middle of season 2, they closed the door, but then it wasn't really closed, or something got stuck.
Yeah, actually,
they could have
something
just
like
they could have definitely
just,
this
like,
season could have been
shrunk down
without the
certain
comedy and all that. It could have been condensed to like 3 or 4 episodes. Because
just keep like the whole comedy stuff. They should have just kept it to one group
exactly
instead of everybody.
like when we were watching them, we had the reactions. We had like we were like 4 or 5 episodes in. We're like, all right, the next one needs to be good because it has nothing else
It's
happened.
like wasn't picking up.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you think the next season is gonna be? Like this. So at the end of the season, we learned that the Russians have a Demogorgon and possibly Hop is still alive in prison because they're feeding the Demogorgon food. And Mike moved away. Will moved away. Will moved away.
And
Did
11.
they say how far?
I don't remember.
11 went with them? Okay. And so that's pretty much it. Like, it's just the Russians have Hop, there's still a Demogorgon, and 11 doesn't necessarily have her powers.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So what would make,
Shouldn't have her
what would be, like, let's say you're making, well, it's hard to do that, but I can't see a way where the next season would be really, really good.
I don't know. They have to. It's gonna have to be like a much bigger scale thing.
Yeah.
Like if the Upside Down actually opens up completely, and they have to go in there and fight, or they come out and fight. I don't know. Because I don't know, like.
I always said that. Well, I thought making them stuck in the Upside Down while the door was closed, or something like that. Just them being stuck in the Upside Down, just for us to learn more about it while still there and trying to survive while they're in there. Could be
Like that,
interesting.
another thing I actually liked about the one thing I guess I liked about season 2 was that they were kind of introducing us to the idea that there was more people like 11,
Yeah.
even though they didn't do it so well. But
Because it was
the
implied
idea
because her
of
name
it,
is
yeah.
11.
yeah, but the idea of it that there are other ones, like I thought that was cool, and I was actually expecting there to be more, but they only showed one.
Yeah, if they would have executed more about what they were trying to do with 11 and her type of people in season 2, and then that way this season can focus more on trying to, I don't know, finding, I don't know, maybe in this, the next season, they're going to find
Together.
all of them. I don't remember what the other girl was. She was, what, number 8?
She was 8.
8. So there's a possibility there's 10 other more besides 11, unless they stopped at 11.
Yeah, and then if they did that, if they brought more of them in, they could fight a big group of these monsters instead of it continuing to be like trying to like solve what's going on or like creep around like to get away and things like that, like actually some action going on, like them actually fighting back. I don't know.
Yeah, it could,
I mean, they do fight back, but it's all like with tricks and things like
yeah.
that.
I mean,
They're children, I get it, but
but I mean, they're older now. I mean, just in this next season, if it's gonna be good, it just has to be more of the mystery thriller to it, and with more horror, more Stranger Things. Remember we said the last season we wanted more Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I just remember right now. Like, where are the Stranger Things? Like like we're not seeing the Stranger Things. We understand everything we know so far. We know there's the Upside Down, and we know that it's still there, but. The only thing that we want now is more information or something more that's going to confuse us about. It's going to keep us watching to keep that tense tone.
Yeah, because, like right now, what I'm saying. Right now, after season 3, I feel like I want more actual action, like something to actually happen, and to progress the story. Tell us what's going on. But before, I did want more of the horror aspect to it, because that is what the first season got people involved in it, and that's what I liked about it.
Yeah, and more danger, because I never felt like these people were actually in danger in this season, because 11 was capable of destroying it.
That's probably why they took her powers.
Yeah, they probably took her powers from that, but which is good. I guess that'll make the next season a little better, because this. Yeah, like I said, in this season there was no tense of them actually being in danger. We weren't afraid for their lives because. Yeah. We know 11 is capable, and they showed it in this season that she was still capable of destroying it, even if that thing was huge.
Yeah, which she did.
Yeah, exactly.
She kept throwing them around.
Yeah, I guess she lost her powers ever since that she got that little one got stuck in her ship.
Yeah, that's when it happened.
That's when it happened. So we'll see. Maybe she doesn't get her powers back, or maybe she won't get it the next season. She won't get her powers back till the last episode or something.
Yeah. Well, or is there like a reason why she doesn't have her powers?
Yeah, exactly.
We know, like you said, that she was infected, but is that it?
Could that little they squished that little thing, huh?
Yeah, but that little thing went back to the body, the big body.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. For a second I thought that was the actual Demogorgon we saw at the end, and maybe that Demogorgon has 11's powers too now, or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, something along those
I don't think
lines.
that's gonna be the case, because the monster, like I said, it went back to the big monster, and the monster dies.
Oh, okay.
So it's like.
Well, we do know there's always a bigger monster, right? So what is?
And the bigger one, that was the other thing that was a mystery from season 2, is like, what is the bigger monster? Because they were saying he was kind of like a shadow type of thing.
Right.
Like, is that what it is? Or is it, I don't know.
And then that.
I want to know more.
So that Demogorgon at the end, those things can plant eggs too? If not, because otherwise that thing isn't really a real threat then.
Demogorgon, no. I don't think they can, because Will got something in him, but
it was
from what I remember, he was he was like
under
cocooning something
like an alien.
That. Yeah.
Okay. So that Demogorgon isn't really. It's just.
Like, it's just what grows.
It's just grows. It's just like an animal. It just grows and wants to eat.
Into that.
Gotcha. So I don't know what.
Because that's technically what the dogs were, right? The little Demogorgon dogs.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's what it is, but small.
Yeah. So we'll see what the Russians want to do with that. Are they gonna clone it, or make it into a fucking their own like hitman? I don't know.
A weapon.
Yeah, make it into a weapon. Yeah, I guess so. Either ways, we'll see. One thing that's for sure, they cannot wait 2 years to like they did for this season, because there was really, I mean, we had to wait 2 years for the season, and there was. That whole waiting was not worth it for the season. I felt like, for sure. If it's gonna be just as bad as this season, just throw it out there next year. Don't make us wait 2 years for something that's not gonna be worth it.
Yeah.
2 years. Same thing with Game of
Maybe
Thrones.
they wanted them to grow a little. I don't know.
Grow and it's not gonna grow on us.
No, I mean the children to grow a little.
Well, they look pretty grown now.
made them want them to grow more.
Either way. All right. Well, those were our thoughts on season 3 of Stranger Things. Let us know if you liked it below. Which one was your favorite season? If you liked this season better than season 2. Okay, season 1 was the best one. Season 1 in itself. I mean, it's not like an amazing show, but it was a good. Season 1 was great.
It was you were legitimately interested. I get a lot of it is because you don't know anything about it, but it really did make you want to keep watching.
It was like, you know what, this was good. It's a great idea to have a show like this. Let's see where it goes, but it doesn't look like it's going in a direction where it's going to be one of the top shows of all time or anything like that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. See you guys next time.